Welcome back to the Barrel Talk Podcast. This is episode 151. Join with Nick Wynn on the call. How we doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
We doing all right.
Doing all right.
Another week of football in the books.
Was that week 10? Week 9?
Yeah, week 10.
Hmm.
Going into week 11 on Thursday. Interesting week. I mean, got a fire of an OC. From the repercussions of this week, we have a team like the Vikings, who I feel like some are starting to speculate and worry about. We have the Bengals, pretty much season's being over.
Got Bryce Young back-to-back wins.
Bryce Young back-to-back wins. Niners get a big-time win on the road. The Cowboys are cooked, but we can kind of start out with Thursday night. I only really have one takeaway. It's just they need to find a way to get Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase help.
Mm-hmm.
For a quarterback to be playing at, in my opinion, an MVP caliber level, in terms of just his play, not wins or losses, just his play. I could even make a case for Jamar Chase being in like Offensive Player of the Year talks.
Right.
Just because of how good that dynamic has been playing. But for the Bengals to almost score on almost all of their good drives, like the defense can't get a stop when it's needed. Your secondary receiver in T. Higgins is never healthy this season, like whatsoever, in a contract year. I'm to the point now where I'm like, maybe you just run with some development from Yoshi Vosh and bring Gesicki back and just let T. Higgins walk. Because if he's like, I mean, because it's to the point now where I'm like, what more would T. Higgins have brought to that game on Thursday that Jamar Chase didn't do for you? And it came down to the defense not being able to get a stop.
Yeah. I mean, it's those big games like that. Your defense has to be able to do something. And obviously it all just comes down to that 2-point conversion. Can't be mad at them for doing it, but That's just where the game, you either win it or lose it off that. But it's just, you don't need to be in those situations. I just, that Tylan Wallace, like 80-yard touchdown. What are we doing? But yeah, T. Higgins, man, like, I don't know. I honestly have not heard much about his injury over the whole season. But like, it's just ridiculous, bro. Like, it's just, if you aren't having like these season-ending injuries, like, we need you in these games. Whether it's the defense or not, yeah, like, I don't know if T. Higgins comes in and gets like 100 yards in that game and actually makes a difference. Like Jamar Chase had like 250 yards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So would he have actually impacted that game? More than likely, probably not. But just in general, like, yeah, you can't be having like so much pressure on Jamar Chase, because we see those weeks where he just completely disappears, and then you're just relying on, like you just said, Andre Yosibas, and as good as he's been playing, Mike Gesicki, who has been ran out of multiple towns. So
Chase Brown has also been very good.
Yeah. Without Zach Moss, he's been pretty damn good. And they
especially
did just bring
when
in,
they were up for a majority of that game.
Right.
Like, you get the fumble from Chase Brown. Then as soon as the fumble happened, I was like, oh, the door just opened up, because they were driving down the field to really close the door on the game. All of a sudden, Chase Brown fumbles, and like the door opens wide back up for the Ravens, which in a must-win game for the Bengals at this point in the season was just tough.
Yeah. I mean, you obviously just keep going. Like, if you have a chance, you still just go. But like, yeah, I mean, I've been saying it since the beginning of this year. I don't think the future in Cincy is very bright. I think it's going to be some sort of rebuild type situation. I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't know. It's not looking good.
And their team, like, with how bad the AFC has been this year, like, they're a team that could possibly still make a run and go get it. But that's still up in the air now, for sure, especially with how good that division is. You're going to be third in the division pretty much the rest of the way with how good the Steelers and Ravens have been. And then, like, the Chargers and Broncos are both better than you guys record-wise for the Bengals. Like, it's slim pickings. If anything, they would be looking at getting, like, the last spot in the playoffs. But even then, I think it's a stretch at this point, even if they're basically having to win out to make it. And I think with how bad that defense is playing offensively, they're going to be able to hang with anybody in any given game. Yeah. But it's just like, when it comes down to the defense getting a stop, it's just not going to happen. And I will give credit. They did get to Lamar a good amount, but Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson, and he's going to make plays out of the pocket. So they were getting enough pressure. It's just they could never get to him and make the tackle they needed. And that's just credit to Lamar. I mean, I can't really put it that much on the defense for that, because there's times where, like, they had Lamar Jackson running for his life, and he was just able to make a play out of it.
Yeah, and he's going to do that. He's just going to do that.
Right. But for the Ravens, I mean, this has to be the year. Like I don't think this Ravens team can really get any better offensively on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, they have their question marks defensively for sure, but I mean, this has to be the year. They can't. It's either Super Bowl or bust for this team at this point. I don't know how many
I
years you run this back with this core.
I mean, here's like what even is this core though?
Right.
Outside of Lamar Jackson and like Derrick Henry, who you just brought in this year, like who's not replaceable? I would argue almost nobody. Like, yeah, Patrick, like your defense shit anyways. Defense ain't that good. Everyone hyping up this Ravens defense all year. Connor last week saying that the Ravens defense was good. No, they are not, bro. They are not good. So like I think with Lamar Jackson, I think you're gonna be able to get enough pieces. He makes enough plays like running around. You're gonna be able to get guys open. I don't really think it matters like having Zay fucking Flowers or Rashad Bateman, Deontay Johnson. I don't think any of those guys are not replaceable. Like, yeah, Zay Flowers is a really good receiver, but like we can find someone like him. Because of that, and like these big names on defense not really making as much of an impact as they did last year and years before. Obviously, like this is just not the Ravens defense that we've come to know.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm not really tripping if I'm them. Like, yeah, we want to go all in. We want to win this year. But like I don't think that's going to be possible because I think you're going to be going up against too many good offenses when you come to these last weeks of the season. I just think they're going to get torched like they usually do. Kyle Hamilton got hurt last week. That's going to make their defensive backfield even worse. So, like, I don't see them winning it this year, sadly. They could because, like, it's Lamar freaking Jackson. Like, their offense is crazy good. But if you can get a few stops on them and you're scoring 30, like, what are they going to do?
I just
that defense
don't.
Ain't doing nothing.
I'm just super interested to see what I know what the conversation is going to be, but I just don't. If it comes down to it and they have to go to Arrowhead to play the Chiefs, I just don't think they win that game.
No, neither do I.
Like, I just think that defense is so good to where, like, if you're Andy Reid, you're just looking at your defense and it's like, just give me 2 stops throughout the game, and then we can do what we do on offense for sure. I mean, they're going to get Pacheco back within the next couple of weeks. It seems like he's going to get off IR, so you're going to have a backfield of Hunt and Pacheco. Like, you got brought in D-Hop. He had a big game against Tampa. Like, he looks to be getting right into form and fitting right in. Like, you still have Worthy, and then you have Patrick Mahomes, who's just going to make it happen. Stat-wise, stats only tell half the story, because what I saw him do against the Bucs, like, every third down, they picked it up, no matter what the distance was. They were making the plays, and that's what I kind of feel like I said last week on the pod, that you basically have to do what the Broncos did. Run the time down, kick a field goal to win it, and then that didn't even work this week because they blocked the fucking field goal. So I just don't see a team that can beat them. I really don't. I don't see a team in the NFL or the AFC that can really beat them. I know a lot of people are hyping up the Lions. Like, if that's seems like the Super Bowl pick that the people want to see, is the Chiefs and Lions. To be honest, with how good that defense is, I think the Chiefs would roll the Lions. In my opinion, maybe not roll them in the Super Bowl, but I think they would beat them. I think they would handle them, because we saw this week, if you are able to get pressure on Jared Goff, and we'll get to it later, he can throw the ball away. And God forbid, I think the Chiefs have the best defense in the NFL. They will get to Jared Goff. So
yes,
I just don't know if there's a team in the NFL this season that can beat them. Maybe if you got the Niners fully loaded and healthy to make a playoff run, maybe they can get back there with all the people they have. But, like, I just don't see a team that's beating them, honestly.
It would just have to be a team that is really good on defense, I think. Like, I think you have to be able to get them off the field whenever you need to. And obviously your offense needs to be good, but like it's not like the Chiefs are blowing people out. They're not scoring 30 a game. So like I don't think you need to score like 30. So like I don't think it'd need a crazy offense. It's just I don't know. It's weird. It feels like they're like not vulnerable against these really good teams. And obviously they're vulnerable against Denver, which is whatever, they're mediocre, but like I don't know. I have a feeling if they're gonna lose, it's gonna be to like a team that we're not expecting to beat them.
I hate to say it, but like when we looked at their schedule and we were like thinking about the first loss, I joked about it, but like now I think it could actually happen. Like they play the Bills this weekend. Obviously, the Bills could win this game,
Yeah.
but like it would be like a team like the Chargers, a team that's going to run the ball super well, really, really good defense, quarterback that's not going to give the ball away. And it could happen this week because the Bills, with this style of play, compared to like bringing in Joe Brady as your new OC from last year, like they have a more manageable week to week style of play that's going to be very consistent for Josh Allen. But it's just like, I don't like, is that defense going to be good enough to like really get the stops when needed? Obviously, like, I'm thinking the only two teams that I think can realistically beat the Chiefs are either the Bills or the Ravens. And we'll get to it later about my take on the Chargers, but I'd give a slight nod to what the Chargers are doing. And I know there are Chargers. I know we've been hyping up, me and you've been hyping up the Chargers all year, but I think they're for real. I think maybe not like Super Bowl title contenders, but they're a team, like if you're looking at like who could make the playoffs and the wild card in the AFC, they're probably the team people don't want to face for the most part.
Yeah. Like they're tough. Like they're like, they don't have these big names that you'd think of. They're like Lad McConkey, Quinn Johnston. They're going to get it done.
They have just
They're
enough.
scary. And their defense is really good. Man, who did they play last week?
Titans.
Man, I had Titans under 18.5. Herbert almost like fumbled out of like in the end zone. Would have been a touchdown for the Titans defense. Arm was going slightly forward. Arm was going so slightly forward.
But we can hop into the Chargers later. We can kind of talk about Bryce Young, who back-to-back wins now. I feel like this, obviously, it's against the Giants, but I think this like shows young quarterback's development because he looks twice, 3 times as comfortable now than he did at the start of the season. And it's so weird because I just think he's somebody who his play is going to really determine on his confidence. And I feel like if he's a confident player, like he looks completely comfortable for the most part against like the Giants and when they won last week. But like they're just in a weird spot to where like I felt like him being the future was like in jeopardy. Now he runs off 2 straight wins. Like now it's really looking at like they got to figure out if he's the future or not. I still think he is. I think you gave up way too much for him to kind of throw him away, throw him to the Wolves after really a year and a couple of games when you know your roster is like not good. So
yeah, there is sadly nothing that he can do this year to show me that he is a franchise quarterback. There's nothing he can do now, but like I think he's definitely earned like you keeping him around,
right,
and like starting him again next year. It's just like like playing the Giants and whoever they played last week, like the Saints, I think it was. There's just nothing there, sadly. Like these teams aren't competing. Like even if you like, I need to see him do it like under an actual stressful situation or a game that they need to win or something like that, where there's actual stakes. Like right now, there's stakes with his job. I need to see external stakes before I say anything.
I think it's so comparable to the Anthony Richardson situation.
Probably.
Because I don't want to see Andy Dalton. I'm sorry. You're a rebuilding team. Indianapolis, you are a rebuilding team. You drafted him. And to start your rebuild, I understand Gardner Minshew took you a first down away from making the playoffs last year. Why is Joe Flacco, somebody who's not even going to be on your roster next year, playing? Andy Dalton, why is somebody that's probably not going to be on your roster next year playing over Bryce Young, getting the reps Bryce Young should get? What are you playing for? Colts, Indianapolis, same with the Panthers. Oh, we just needed to jumpstart the offense. Get that through your quarterback. Scheme better, coach better. I just don't understand the point of throwing Flacco and throwing Andy Dalton out there to, one, fuck with the confidence of your quarterback. I understand it's the sitting reps behind him, and that's where these situations differ. But it's just like, now you're starting Joe Flacco with Anthony Richardson's not hurt. When is he going to get the live reps? Like Bryce Young, now that he sat behind for 2 weeks, now he's getting the live reps. But why are the Colts out here saying that Flacco's going to start the rest of the year when you just lost back-to-back games? Like the season's over, Indianapolis. I'm sorry, you're not making the playoffs. Like this isn't last year.
Yeah.
Like you're not making it. You still have a 2-game deficit over the Texans.
On the Anthony Richardson, like he only played like 10 college games. Came in, played like 3 games last year, 2 games, whatever. Comes back in, plays like 3 games this year. So he's played like what, like 16 to 20, let's say 15 to 20 football games past high school.
Right.
And it's just it. Like, that's just, there's no more. Like, we just think he's not good anymore. I don't know. I think it's really weird what the Colts are doing. Because, yeah, like what you're saying, like, there's just no reason to start Joe Flacco. Like, if it's somebody maybe 5 years younger or like something, and you have these wins, like maybe. But, like, you drafted this dude number 4, bro. And, like, it's not like we're seeing anything different. Like, we've talked about this time and again, but he is completion percentage and, like, all these stats are eerily similar to those 10 starts in college. So it's not like you were getting an 80% pass completion guy in college and now he's come in and dropped 30 points. No, he's always been around 50 to 55%. So, I don't know.
And, like,
It's
for people
dumb.
that talk about Joe Flacco last year with the Browns, for one, that Browns roster was three times as better as the Colts is right now, and the Colts were actually and the Browns were actually in well position towards the back half of the year to make the playoffs. So, like, and that was all due to injury of him getting in there anyways. So you're just not getting the reps with a healthy Anthony Richardson, because then it's going to be the same thing next year. So what are you going to do next year when Anthony Richardson is the starter for week 1 next year? And then it's like, oh, well, he still looks bad because he didn't get the reps in a meaningless season to be able to get better. And I think Bryce Young, now I feel like if you're the Panthers, Anthony Dalton, you're not playing the rest of the year. Barring injury, you're not playing the rest of the year. We need to get a full sample size of if he can be our quarterback or not. The Colts are just kind of scared to realize that sample size, I feel like, and they're just going to continue on, just doing something stupid like this. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the two situations are just very comparable.
I think the only situation in which it makes sense to like really bench your quarterback is actually a situation like Caleb Williams, when you're getting sacked like at a historic rate. Mm-hmm. That's the only time where I think like it would make sense to like bench a quarterback when you still need to see his sample size. Like if Anthony Richardson was getting sacked 9-10 times a game, then yeah, this would make sense. We don't want him to get hurt. But like that's not happening.
No.
Like you have an okay O-line. You saw freaking Quentin Nelson, the best offensive guard ever. So like I don't know. Yeah, it's stupid. I think that's the only time you should, because you don't want to get him to get hurt. But like outside of that, where's the reasoning?
And that can kind of get us into like next, because Shane Waldren, their OC, did get fired today. I still don't think it's going to affect anything. Eberflus is still there. He's still the head coach. I just think they need when the Lions brought in Dan Campbell, he kind of changed and rebuilt that culture. I feel like Chicago's lost that throughout the years. I think they've lost their culture. They've lost what they've standed for. Firing the OC doesn't help you at this point in the year. I think Eberflus, yes, he's the problem. He's still a good defensive coach. Your defense is still okay at this point. I think the defense is starting to struggle week on because your offense is so bad.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know how I feel about the benching situation. I know Eberflus made some comments about like he's still our quarterback. Obviously, he's still your quarterback, but it's just like that conversation of benching him does come into play because of how bad that O-line is, and you don't want him to end up getting hurt and it be like a Joe Burrow situation to where now he's just missing a whole year in a meaningless season at this point because they're not doing anything this year.
It just sucks because like I've seen like stats and like just clips of Caleb just actually waiting. Like there are people open and he's kind of the one generating some of the sacks. Like like some of them are the O-line, but like I don't even remember the specific numbers, but like he has more time to throw on average than Bo Nix does. And he just can't. He's just not getting those throws off.
But it's also a scheme thing, because when you watch the Broncos and the Commanders and even the Patriots at some certain points, like those young quarterbacks, like especially Jaden Daniels, the entire offense for the Commanders is all layups and quick hitting plays.
Mm-hmm.
It's all quick in routes, quick out routes to the sideline. It's all quick hitting stuff, and then that opens up your deep shots. But like they can't, like there is no easy completions for Caleb Williams. I feel like he's working twice as hard, 3 times as hard for everything.
I'm watching like just a random play, and it's just so hard for them to just complete a pass. It's
Yes.
just like everything's so difficult. Nothing comes simple. It's just
Mm-hmm.
weird. Like you're seeing like things of like I don't know. Number one that comes to mind is like Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. Like those motherfuckers just get it done with no effort. Cooper
Yeah.
Kupp just runs a 10-yard out route, beats two people, and Matthew Stafford just simply throws him the ball. That easy. We have the receivers for it. Keenan Allen. Hey, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. We just can't get him the ball. Are these guys just not getting open anymore? I don't watch
I
Bears
don't.
games. I'll be honest.
I
I ain't gonna watch them like that.
it's a scheme thing when you're looking at them play. You can tell what the Bears are going to do just like watching like the game. You can tell how the entire drive is going to go. It's just looking at it's just the play calling. The play calling is shit. It's piss poor. When you look at the play calling in Washington, it's all quick hitting stuff and it's all easy stuff to get the quarterback confidence throughout the game. And it's just like they don't have that in Chicago. They don't have the quick hitting plays. It's not that nobody's getting open. It's for one, Caleb doesn't really have the time to throw, and the plays aren't really schemed up to be quick hitting plays. I don't know what they're doing from a play calling perspective to make it this hard because the Washington offense, in theory, shouldn't be 10 times as better as Chicago's when Chicago has more talent at damn near every position other than O-line on the offense. Like, why is the Broncos offense 3 times as better than Chicago's when the Broncos probably have a fraction of what the Chicago Bears do offensively,
One
talent-wise?
scheme, two, like I don't know. I don't think we can blame it just on scheme though. Like
No,
it's no way it's just the play caller. Like and
no,
the
it's
O
not.
line. Like Caleb is playing like shit.
Yeah,
It's just it's too late. Okay. The season it's sadly too late. I just don't think you can successfully change an offense in the middle of the year and become
no.
successful. That's just not going to happen. I don't know. Like I obviously I know the Bears fans want Eberflus gone. At this point, you might as well and just like whether you run this offense for the rest of the year and you just see what you can do, or I don't know who you'd bring in and run a different offense, but I think it
Bro,
just sucks because they're bringing up it just brings up so many questions and there's so much chaos in Chicago now, and it's like y'all weren't even supposed to like yes we all said y'all were gonna be good, but like you weren't supposed to be winning in the division or anything, so it's not
no.
like y'all ain't we ain't got a
Y'all
shirt
are
like
still in a
crazy yet,
rebuild
bro.
process.
It's year one of Caleb.
Um, for him playing, I just think he's kind of lost faith and confidence in that O-line. And
Oh,
I feel
for
like
sure. I mean,
he
he's
always,
definitely shook
yeah.
for sure.
And for somebody who doesn't really have good play calling on his side, has to worry about the O-line as well. I just think it's a lot for especially a rookie quarterback year one. And kind of a situation to where like there hasn't been a lot of success in that franchise. So you're looked at as the savior.
Oh
So
yeah,
they're gonna overreact to every little bad thing that happens. It's year one. You have a talented roster. You need to go get a better coach for one. The league is not in a place to where they're leaning defensive minded coaches with how they expect quarterbacks to come in and play right away. You have to have a quarterback friendly coach in today's NFL. You have to. It's
you either
not,
have to have a quarterback friendly head coach or like a game moving offensive coordinator, like
yes.
a Cliff Kingsbury, a Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm. I
So
said, so like the pipe dream for Bears fans is like, oh, get Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's for one, not going into the division to deal with the Lions, which is something that he had just as part of a building process as Dan Campbell has over there. So why would he stay in division to a franchise he knows is bad that you play twice a year? I think somebody that I threw out there that I put down has somebody that I think could work with this compared to what he's done. I was saying maybe you get Joe Brady from the Bills to be your head coach just because of how he changed that offense mid-year last year, and they got more run heavy, taking all the super heroic want to be a hero plays out of Josh Allen's hands and sees how better he has become as a quarterback when it comes to protecting the ball. And I kind of see that same thing with Caleb, to where there's a lot of I got to be the hero college scheme still. But with Joe Brady, you see like they're gonna establish the run. Once you establish the run, you know Josh Allen has the arm to make plays. Caleb has the talent. He has the arm. That's not the question. You need to get a coach that is going to be able to fit a style of play that works for him. And I think Joe Brady, from what I've seen him do with Josh Allen in this year and a half, like I'm really thinking that he could do the same in Chicago. He can establish a run, make it a lot because that's what they've done in Buffalo. Is just run the ball more, and that opens everything up for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And he could be a more realistic option for them.
I don't know
from
how
what
I
I
feel
have
about
been
that.
seeing.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that just because he would be a first-time head coach. And I don't know, like, bring in another guy who isn't proven. But, I mean, it definitely could work with that offense. One, I don't want this to happen. I just thought of it because you said Joe Brady. Brian Daboll going to get fired and then go to Chicago. QB whisperer. We need a culture. Remember, he kind of set a culture in New York that year they beat the fuck out of y'all in the playoffs. Kind of set a culture.
I
don't want it. And I think the Bears will probably hate it. But, like, low key, though, I guess is what's going to happen.
So now that we're on this track, low key, I have somebody that kind of fits that build. Somebody I know, from all the hate he gets, he can make a functionable offense.
No, don't you dare say it.
Mike McCarthy is probably
don't say that.
Mike McCarthy is probably going to be available. I mean, he's already coached in the division. Like, he's somebody that you can say what you want about the Cowboys this year, has had all-time career years with Dak Prescott at the helm.
Mm-hmm.
They have the talent instilled in Chicago. Why not bring somebody who you know can instill some more of a consistent level offense with your team? Because the only problem with the Cowboys at the start of the year was that they couldn't run the ball, and that hindered the offense completely. With Chicago, you will be able to run the football. Obviously, you got to fix the O-line, but if you allow McCarthy to come in there and kind of reshape this offense, I mean, I think he's a more realistic option than going and getting like fucking trying to go get like Bill Belichick or Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's not coming to Chicago.
I don't
He's
think
not
Ben Johnson,
going to.
No. One, I think he's going to be like the highest sought after coordinator in like 10, 15 years. Like, he's going to get paid a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, one, is Chicago going to do that? Probably not. Maybe, though. I don't know. Like, if this is enough of a shit show, do they go out and like offer him like 30 mil a year, some bullshit?
Oh, then
20,
if you're talking
30
crazy
20,
bread,
because like John Green got 10. Wait, let me look up what John Gruden's contract was.
If you're thinking about that, I think McCarthy's a realistic option. I think Joe Brady's just one interesting one that I thought of that would be like low key. But like Ben Johnson is either going to stay with the Lions or go to a situation where they're prime ready to kind of like compete at least a little bit. Like, the Bears don't have a bad situation. I just don't see him going in division to the Bears, especially.
John Gruden got a 10-year, $100 million contract from the Raiders to be their head coach. That's insane. But I think he's going to demand so much money. So I don't know if the Bears will do it. But depends how desperate they are.
I just think Mike McCarthy is somebody that could come in and actually make a little bit.
I think it's going to end so ugly in Dallas. I don't think he's going to get a job.
To where he takes that like year off and then year or two off and then has to go, or you just think this is done for him?
He's done. Low key.
Oh.
One, I don't know if he like really enjoys it that much.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it's public news at this point that he lied to get the job. He ain't got no aura left.
Oh.
He ran it all out. I don't think he has like much to bring to the table anymore. Like, he used to be, he brought the offense to the table, and now this offense is garbage. So
yeah,
like, I don't think that's where they will pivot to. It'd be weird. It'd be interesting though.
I mean, we can kind of get into the Cowboys. More so, it just seems like the rails are falling off right now for them.
Mm-hmm.
I have kind of like, so your upcoming free agents are like DeMarcus Lawrence, Eric Kendricks. You have Zach Martin, who's a free agent, who's up there in age as well. Like, and you still have to pay Micah. Like, now Dak's out for the remainder of the year with surgery. Like, what does this rebuild? Is this a rebuild or a retool?
It's just a retool because we just paid Dak and CD, I think. So I think
a retool can be beneficial. Like, I don't think they're in a situation like you still have Dak, you still have CD, But I will say I don't think Micah's going to be on this team.
I don't think so either. I think he's talking himself out of this locker room.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think he
There's
wants
someone
to
who just
be there.
doesn't want him there as well. I don't think he's going to be there. But then again, like, are we just going to let him walk for free? That'd be kind of crazy. I don't know. I mean, is this his actual last year? Like, is he up?
I want to say he has one more year after this one. But kind of going off that, knowing how Jerry is, Jerry would rather let him walk for nothing than have to trade him. It's just how he is.
Okay, we have him on his 5th year next year. But then then it's it. So he will be on the team next year unless we trade him. I would be 100% down with that. But
because with how many holes you have in the roster, you can't. If you made Micah Parsons available with his age and what he is bringing to a football team,
is that 2 firsts?
You're netting about 2 firsts. You're getting a young, probably top 5 to 10 premium edge rusher, like not even really in his prime yet. He's still like what
25
24
years old, 24, 25 years
old. You're getting somebody. Yes, you're gonna have to pay him, but like you're getting somebody so young, really not even in the peak of his powers yet as a edge rusher. Like you're getting that to like teams are gonna have cap if you make him available. Teams are going to have assets to throw.
Especially like if you do it at the right time when like rosters are like filing out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think you could get massive value out of him because like I wonder, depending on how things go with like San Francisco, like if they get off a few of these contracts, which I think they have a few big names up this year that they just will straight up not sign back.
Mm-hmm.
Like need more defense. Defense a little lacking this year. Still want to go with that high-powered offense. I think that could be somebody who would like pay a premium if they want to do like what the Rams did and just go all in.
A team that I thought of that because I think it's gonna have to be a contending team that's willing to kind of do what like go all in.
Like the Packers.
I would say the Vikings. Like we're gonna have top 5 cap space this summer. We have our first round pick this year.
He's now, kind of fire in those unis too.
Do we absolutely desperately need Micah Parsons? No, because we have Dallas Turner, we have Jonathan Grenard, Van Ginkel. Like we have people at that position. But for what it seems like the Vikings mindset is going forward, you're not bringing back Sam Darnold. You have JJ McCarthy for 4 seasons on that rookie scale contract. You're looking at the next 4 years has your window being open. You've seen what KOC has done with the kind of carousel of quarterbacks. I'm confident that he's going to make it work with JJ McCarthy.
Do you think they're going to try to do like what the Niners do? Get a guy on a super cheap contract and get an amazing defense around him?
Yes.
I think it's smart. I mean, hey, it works. Get you to Super Bowls.
You have everything offensively. You have the coach. You have the DC, who I think is going to be there for more than just this year.
Right.
Like he's building something special on that defensive side of the ball. So the Vikings are going to have the cap space to just trade for Micah, pay Micah, and still be able to make moves in free agency. That's how much cap they're going to have because you're not paying a quarterback. They're in a really, really good spot to make that move. The Packers are also in the kind of that same spot, but they're paying Jordan Love. So it's going to be a team like in that situation where the Vikings were like, you're not paying your quarterback a whole lot of money. You have the ability to like go out and make the moves because you have draft capital and shit like that. But it's going to be an interesting spot to see like what ends up happening with him because if I'm the Cowboys, I'm moving him. If I'm not absolutely certain I'm paying him, I'm moving him.
I'm for 100%. Yeah, it's retool mode. It's time.
And now with the Cowboys, you're looking at right now they have the 11th pick in the draft this year. With how it stands right now, they're probably going to get somewhere between in the top 8, I would think. You're telling me you can't get 2 first-round picks out of this? You could get 2 first-round picks out of this.
This is the move that must be made.
Yes, it's the move that I think has to be
it's like that's made. That could. Oh, it just sucks because like everyone thinks he's so good. I just don't see him wrecking games like he used to, and like if you can get 2 firsts, bro, you don't have to pay that 30 mil. Like that 30 mil is going to be huge. I think that could be like a key. Like we draft well. I think that could be like a key move that we need to do. It's just not going to happen.
Like, if you even put Micah Parsons with the Vikings and then in that Flores system with how versatile he is and being able to go anywhere really on the field, using him in more of a versatile way.
I think I'd like him anywhere else than Dallas.
Yeah, I just think that's the move that needs to be made if you want to maximize what you have with Dak and CD, which is seeming to be like your two guys compared to Micah might being the odd man out just in the timeline of him getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the Niners situation. I think the Vikings are a little bit more realistic money-wise. Packers are an interesting one. But the Niners always find some way to like make these moves somehow.
I'm just thinking if they were like, God, like if they were in a situation like literally like the Rams borrowed for a Super Bowl. Now they're getting kind of lucky that they're kind of getting lucky. They're still able to, make the playoffs almost every year. Like they haven't had to pay like a crazy bill for that. But like I could see the Niners really doing something like that. Like, yeah, we know we're in cap hell. We don't give a fuck. You can see what the Saints are doing, bro. Like the Saints are like in cap hell, but they don't give a fuck. They just don't care. So like I think it very easily they could just say we're fine with what our offense is, and maybe like trade away. I don't know. I don't want to go too far and like changing up this roster, but like if they can get off a few guys or something, and open up a little bit of money, it could be interesting.
Their whole thing and kind of them making a run and them for the future. If CMC continues to be healthy, this team is going to continue to be good. But we've seen them kind of struggle without him. Now he's coming off of an injury, but if CMC remains healthy the rest of the year, they're my favorite to make the Super Bowl in the NFC. They just are. If CMC remains healthy, you saw Pearsall, he's looking great in the new and with his time as a rookie.
Get Debo punching people.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
I have no idea.
If we just take off that though, like everything else looks good.
Yeah, everything else looks good. Like if you have CMC healthy, that makes Brock Purdy's life a lot easier. Kittle's having a low-key elite year offensively. Like Juwan Jennings has proven that he can carry the load at times when needed. Like you still have Debo.
He can be a number 2, bro. He can be a 2.
Like if the CMC can remain healthy the rest of the year, I'm picking the Niners over the Lions, over the Eagles, over the Commanders, over all these teams in the NFC.
They're also going to get more defensive players back. They have guys hurt. They're just going to get healthier, unless they, lose guys. But I don't know. They could definitely do it. It's them or the Lions for me.
Yeah. We can kind of get into. We were already talking about the Vikings a little bit. I increasingly get more worried every week. Let me run down some of this. So Sam Darnold has 10 picks through 9 games. We've already had our bye. He's tied for the most picks in the league with only playing 9 games. It's crazy. He has 17 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, has 3 picks, should have been 4 against the Jags defense, who has had like the league lowest in takeaways throughout the entire year.
Well, they've been sorry.
3. Yes, you gave him 3. You probably the first one he had to Jefferson, tip ball goes up in the air.
Yeah.
Kind of put that on Jefferson. I put that more on Jefferson because he kind of got a little bitched in the route and kind of got bullied a little bit in the route and probably could have made more of an effort to just even knock that ball down. The one to Addison, unexcusable. Like, that was stupid. You got saved by your defense again. Like, I just feel like
were all 3 of those in the end zone?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Well, not the Jefferson one, but it was like in the red zone area.
Like that, you just simple. You can't do that.
No.
That's it. You can't turn over the ball in the red zone.
No.
Oh.
We had the ball for so much majority in time of possession that game to where you would think if you looked at time of possession, you would think we won that game by 40. But your defense comes in, saves the day again.
Yep.
Showing how elite the Vikings defense is. I mean, the Jags, even though they had Mac Jones, the Jags couldn't do anything. It's just increasingly every week, more and more alarming, more and more red flags to make it seem like, because my whole thing is, if Sam Darnold cannot turn the ball over, if he can keep the ball like in safe hands, we will be fine because our defense
Yes.
is going to be able to make enough plays. Our offense should be good enough to make things happen.
It will
But
be. Like it is.
it
It is.
it is
It's
good
just,
enough. It's just you can't have those mistakes. And you won that game.
it's literally just that too. Like I think it's just that. I think
That's
the
exactly my
team
point.
just moves if you don't do that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so
Like
weird because
there's
like, yeah, Hawk back. Like you have all these guys, bro. Just be like, just I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I think we're just starting to see, and I'm not saying Sam Darnold's led this team to 7-2.
Yeah, we're not saying bench him. It's not like this guy's
No,
shit.
we're not saying anything like that. But I'm just saying the red flags are more apparent as the weeks go on.
Yeah, and I think it can be a little concerning because you guys are still winning. So you could,
Yes.
I don't want you guys to get lackadaisical and be like, oh, we're still winning games, so like it's whatever.
Right.
Like
It's something that needs to be
fine.
fixed.
Like no, bro. Like these are if you are doing this against these teams in the playoffs, you will not win. You will
Right.
lose. So I think I don't think they will. I think KOC is the type of coach where he's not lackadaisical about this shit. So
No.
I hope it'll be okay. I think it will.
The only thing
He's
is,
smart.
I think Sam Darnold is very fortunate that JJ McCarthy is on the shelf this year.
Oh yeah.
I think he is very fortunate that he can have a game like this and kind of been the sputtering a little bit, struggling a little bit at times in the past couple of weeks, it seems like offensively, from his point of view, from how he started the year, to realize that they're going to ride with you the rest of the way. But if JJ McCarthy was healthy, I feel like that would be a little bit of a back door.
Yeah.
So, like, if you did have a game where you're just kind of throwing the ball away,
then like maybe he gets a chance.
Yes. So
and, like,
I
with
think
an offense like this, I think JJ McCarthy will succeed. So like,
right.
be a little scary, yeah. If he came in one game and all of a sudden, wait a minute, it's a system.
Yeah. So we got. I mean, in the next couple of weeks, the Vikings are going to be at a 10-win, double-digit wins. You have the Titans this week. You have Arizona, which is shaping up to be a really, really good game. If Arizona can keep it going as well, and then you have Chicago. You still have Chicago twice. And then you have the Lions and the Packers. So you're in a good spot to where you're going to hit double-digit wins.
Yeah.
It's just to the point now to where, like, you got to really, really push to try to get, like, 11 wins. Because has it states right now, yeah. Like, if say the Vikings, because right now they are the 5 seed. Say the Vikings finish as the 5 seed, you're at San Francisco with how things might play out in the first round.
You're at San Fran or like at Arizona. Yeah. Goddamn.
And you're probably looking at an 11-win season.
Kind of a gauntlet in the NFC this year.
Oh yeah.
Because like I mean, fuck. It's like I feel like the best is the Falcons. I feel like I'd want to play the Falcons.
Right.
Because man, it's like either the Niners, the Cardinals, the Packers, the fucking.
I think it's gonna be the
Lions,
Eagles,
Commanders, Eagles, fucking Eagles. I forgot about them.
Yeah.
I mean, oh god, it's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah. Then we can kind of talk about our Chargers. I think they're a legit threat. I really do. Maybe not a Super Bowl contending threat, but they're the most dangerous team in the AFC. They have an elite level defense. You bring back Gus Edwards. Like, that running back room is going to get even better than it has been just under J.K. Dobbins. Gus Edwards had like 10 carries for like 55 yards. He's kind of that dual threat. Like, when you need to get the short yardage, you put him in there, and then you have Dobbins to kind of take the top off. With how good that defense is, they're really well coached. And Justin Herbert, stats-wise, you got to watch the games to see it. He's playing at a really, really high level.
Balling. He was balling.
He is playing at a super high level. And I just think if the Chargers get the right matchup, they can upset a team. That's all I'm really saying. That's kind of like my take. If they get the right matchup, don't be shocked if the Chargers find a way to win one of these playoff games if they make the wild card.
It'd be so gritty too. It'd be such a gritty win.
Right.
I really like our Chargers, man. Like Justin Herbert in that game looked hella good. And I don't know if he's always been running like this, but I saw him running. Dude. That dude, I loved it. I loved it. I think he's balling. I don't know if it's the coaching mixed with like I don't know if they didn't have any expectations on him this year, but like, man,
I think it's kind of a situation with what happened with Josh Allen, because Josh Allen has improved so much because you're not relying on Josh Allen to throw the ball 40 times a game, 50 times a game, to win games. That's the whole problem with Joe Burrow right now. And he's playing at a super high level with how much he has to throw the ball. Justin Herbert can rely on the run game. They have a good defense that's going to keep them in games. All Justin Herbert has to do, not turn the ball over, which is what he hasn't done. So put your defense in good positions. Offensively, they might not have the names. They have a really, really good backfield with Gus Edwards healthy and J.K. Dobbins with how he's been playing this year. Like, you've gotten really good production, I think, from Ladd McConkey in his first year.
Will
Quentin Johnston,
come on now.
Yeah, like Will Desley, like, I guess.
He's balling though.
He's balling.
He ain't the name, but he balling.
Like Quentin Johnston has been really a touchdown machine down the field so far when he's been healthy this year. So I mean, they got pieces, man. Yeah, they got pieces.
They're just one of those offenses that are gonna like work you down, tire you out, because he's just gonna get those like those quick passes that I don't remember what team you were talking about earlier in the episode, but like they have those quick routes. That's what they do.
The Commanders.
The Commanders. They work off of their play action, and then they have quick routes with Will Disley, Quentin Johnston with either a slant or like he has a lot of those hook fucking plays that they do. They do a lot of like hook and ladder concepts. So it's just a lot of quick throws that Justin Herbert's accurate with, and they could definitely be stingy in the playoffs. If that defense they just gotta make it.
I think that defense has allowed under 20 points to every single team but KC. And I think that game was like 24, 21, or 22 or something a couple weeks ago. So that defense has held teams in check.
So a little scared. I'm not gonna lie. I talked about earlier. I had Titans under 18.5. So I was paying close attention. Why did Mason Rudolph go 15 for his first 18 passes? It was
scary. Will Levis.
Oh, it was Will Levis. Yeah, it wasn't Mason Rudolph this week. Goddamn, it was Will Levis. But like, it was a little scary because they were kind of balling. Yeah. Calvin Ridley had like a 50-yard touchdown right off the bat. And they were kind of balling, so I was a little scared. But then they started getting a lot of pressure on Levis, and if they can get consistent pressure, which they have a lot of guys that can, that defense is just going to be scary this whole time.
Mm-hmm. I just think they're in a really good spot. Broncos loss really helped them out because they're obviously not winning that division. But if they can get to a point where like maybe they go to Buffalo, like that's a tough game for sure. But they can compete with anybody.
I think they would beat the Ravens in the playoffs.
Really?
I think if the Chargers and Ravens match up in the playoffs, the Chargers will win.
You see, it's so interesting because, like, my path for them was maybe the Chargers going to Pittsburgh and playing them and winning. You don't think they win that one? You think
I don't know. I think against certain defenses they'd really struggle. Right. Because of those fast passes, and I think they don't do great under pressure. So I think like someone with a worse defense like the Ravens, we've seen the Ravens struggle a little bit against good defenses. Mm-hmm. So I think it would be. I think that I don't know. It'd be a good game versus Pittsburgh, and I think Russ would struggle, or I don't even know. Maybe he wouldn't, but he'd be 50-50.
The Ravens would be a good match because that defense isn't as good.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other two things I had was kind of talking about the Steelers. I think the Steelers are kind of my same explanation with the Chargers. You have a team that has a really, really good defense, a quarterback that's been good at not turning the ball over, a good run game. Like, that defense is going to give you, and they play the Ravens this week in Pitt. This is a very deciding factor for the division.
This is what tells me if they're real or not.
I think if they win this game, I think they win the division.
Aren't they 7-2, 6-2? I don't know what they are.
They're 7-2.
7, okay.
So they win this game. I'm pretty confident in them winning the division. going forward. Because Lamar Jackson has struggled against the Steelers his entire career.
Mhm.
In Pitt, I think this is going to be a very telling game for the Steelers. And even then, they got a gritty one out in Washington, which
Yep.
I think, in my opinion, if they don't, for one, they went for that fake punt and the dude just dropped the ball. That was going to
Right.
be a completed trick play.
Right.
They have him catch the ball. I think that game might get a little out of hand because they were moving the ball. It's just Dak set it up, the Commanders to get the momentum back. Like, I think, barring that, I think the Steelers would have took care of the Commanders. If that doesn't happen, that was a big momentum shift throughout that game. So I think they're in a really good position too. I've become more of a believer in this team going forward every week. That's just my mindset on the Steelers.
Man, I think I'm a little bit on the other side. Not on the other side. Like I think they're good, obviously, but like I am kind of looking at this Najee and Alex Highsmith injury. I don't know if they were serious. I'm not even seeing anything, honestly. Okay, it's not Najee's looks all right, but I don't even think Najee's like that for real.
I know
like Jalen
Highsmith
Warren.
rolled his ankle or
Yeah.
got it rolled up on.
Yeah. So I just maybe it's that 2022 Russ memory that's just clouding my mind. But it's not that I don't trust him. It's just, is he gonna not turn the ball over when the games matter? It's just kind of like the Sam Darnold thing. And I don't believe in Najee as much. That's it. But like, I still think they are definitely like, man, George Pickens is a fucking dog, and I think Freiermuth is coming along really, really well, and obviously Mike Williams. I think that was a really good trade for them. So I think they should be good. It's literally just for me, is Russ gonna be this good down the stretch? That's it.
It really comes down to like them and the wild card, because if they can make a team come to Pittsburgh, I think that's what they need to be focused on.
Right.
More so. And if they can wrap up this division, if they win this division, then you're probably looking at them as the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Behind KC.
Yeah. Because like
unless Buffalo gets to like 12 wins. 12 wins. Which could happen.
It could, but I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Buffalo's schedule the rest of the way is pretty rough.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Last thing before we get into the pick'ems and power rankings, talking about Sunday night. Like, has somebody who, like, my favorite team is in that same division, I was like, wow, Lions lose here. We kind of get our foot back up to possibly win the division. Like, 5 picks. Like,
I had to
5
turn it off.
picks.
I had to turn it off. That, like, interceptions are just like my like least favorite part of football. Like, I hate watching that shit. So as soon as I saw him throw like that third one, I turned it off. I couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't watch.
I think from the Texans' point of view, they are missing Nico Collins so bad right now, offensively, and the O-line isn't helping it at all.
Yeah.
But I think once they get Nico Collins back, I think the Texans are going to be right back in the mix. Because, I mean, you're talking about somebody when healthy was a top 5 receiver in the game.
Yeah, and you have a great running game this year. Defense is playing way better than I thought they would. Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. It just sucks that they lost that game. I can't believe you lost a game getting 5 interceptions.
Right. And then the Lions, I don't really even know what to say. They're just going to clean it up, and they're going to be fine. Yeah.
Hey, rest in piss, Jared Goff's MVP campaign. Thank God.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Get it out of here.
Here's the thing. I think the Lions are almost impossible to beat when they have a lead. When they are able to play from ahead and just run the ball, they are almost impossible to beat.
Because I've seen them literally like just run the ball down the field. Like they didn't pass the ball. Like they'll just run it like 9 straight times, and that's like 8 minutes off the clock, it feels like, dude.
So my whole thing was, what's going to happen when you play a team that can keep up with you scoring-wise, but also get pressure on you and make you play from behind? The Texans got out to an early lead, and you saw Jared Goff have to throw the football down the field. I'm not saying he can't, but I'm saying with adding that on top of pressure, and I know he's been very good against pressure this year, But in a situation where you're down, having to come back in the game on the road, and you're still getting pressure in a very ugly game, because CJ Stroud had his mistakes as well.
Yeah.
But in a game where like they needed Jared Goff, you couldn't just say, all right, Jahmyr Gibbs, handoff, Montgomery, handoff. You needed Jared Goff to make some plays, and he did to get them back in this game. But you saw how he struggled and threw the ball away and played from behind with pressure getting to him. Like, it was happening, and he was really struggling. That's my whole point. And the only thing is, like, why I think a team like the Vikings, that made me so mad we lost to them the first time at home, was because we had that game. We had them beat. But we can't allow them to score or go on. If a team can hold the line.
Was it that pick six Darnold threw?
They scored 21 in the second.
Oh. Nice.
So, I mean, it was a shootout game. We lost off the end of the game. But, like,
that game-winning field goal.
I just think if you're going to want to beat this Lions team, you have to make them play from behind. It's easier said than done, for sure. But we've seen Goff struggle when it comes to, like, having to get them back in games when they're playing from behind. Because if you're playing from ahead, they're just going to run the ball and you're not going to be able to do anything with it.
Yes. So I think we've been saying for weeks that the number one key is to get pressure on Jared Goff. And yeah, I think obviously they go hand in hand. Like, if you're getting pressure, hopefully that offense doesn't move as much and then you're able to get ahead. And I completely agree, because then you're getting, I think Jared Goff is the weakness of this offense, because I think those interceptions are just bound to happen at some point if you get pressure on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see, I kind of want to, I'll look it up in a second, like what the rush rates against them are, because I'm interested to see, because I bet teams saw that. And like, obviously coming off those games where you're seeing him go 18 for 18 or whatever he went, like 85% completion in a 3-week span, I think these teams are like really paying attention, and like you just have to get pressure. That's my main thing. And that's my main thing in like football as a whole, bro. Like, your defense just has to be able to get pressure.
Cornerbacks' jobs are already hard enough to where if you're not getting pressure, they're going to get beat at some point.
Yeah.
I think this Lions team is very good, but I think people are starting to think this Lions team is on the same caliber as like KC, when I think it's the complete opposite. Like, I really do believe it's KC, and then it's legit everybody else.
Oh yeah, me too. Sadly, like, as much as I don't want KC to be doing that, but they are. What's going on here?
But I mean, the Lions are going to continue to probably go on to win the division.
Yeah.
Like, with how it's stacking up, I don't really know their next couple of games that they do have. I know there's a lot of division with the North towards the back half of the year, but we'll see what ends up happening.
Mm-hmm.
But we can get into our Week 11 pick'ems.
Bet.
I can just pull them up on my phone right here. So Thursday night, we have Washington and the Eagles.
Give me Philly.
I'm also going Philly.
I think we're getting to that point in the year where Philly just starts going crazy, or Commanders start falling off a little bit, maybe a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Packers and Chicago. Packers off a bye.
Oh yeah. Give me the Packers.
And Chicago as well. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Jags and the Lions.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Lions.
Lions moved to 9-1.
Yeah.
Raiders and Miami.
Miami won last night, right? Yeah, they did. I'm gonna take Miami.
I'll go Miami as well. Rams and Patriots. Give me the Rams.
Yep. Give me the Rams.
Browns and Saints.
Give me the Saints.
Give me, yeah.
Fuck it.
Give me the Browns going off a bye.
All right.
Colts at Jets. Give me the Jets.
Give me the Jets. Fine.
Give me the Jets.
Fine.
Ravens at Steelers.
I'm going to go with Steelers.
I'm going to go with the Steelers as well. Ravens are due for a loss.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are just due to like not win a game. Like that's it. Like, just not win a game.
Vikings at
All these
Titans.
stupid ass wins. Vikings.
Vikings. Atlanta at Denver.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Give me Denver, baby.
I think
Denver heartbreaker.
Denver to go 6-5. This would push Atlanta to 6-5 as well. Seahawks at Niners. Seahawks off a bye.
Give me Niners by 30.
I'm going the Niners.
I ain't gonna kill them.
KC at Buffalo.
Is this the week?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I
just don't think so.
I think they go to
Give
10-0.
me the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs until it isn't.
Give me the Chiefs. But when they play the Cardinals in like 2 weeks, there it is. That's the loss.
I respect that.
Bengals at Chargers Sunday night.
Give me the Chargers.
This would be a big win for the
This would
Chargers
be
to go
a
7-3.
huge
Be a
win.
big win. This Sunday night.
What time you said? Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Shit, it's here.
Give me
my Chargers. You said, man, you need the Bengals to win this one.
I know.
Your take is hanging on by a thread.
I need them to go 2-2 at this point. Go to 5-6. Still in the.
There's still, there's still a chance. There is still a chance.
I think we gotta kill the Bengals taking, then we just gotta ride out with the Chargers the rest of the year.
Uh-huh.
And then
Let them die.
Texans at Dallas. Texans. I mean, got some fire games. Washington's Eagles going to be good. KC and Bills are going to be good. Chargers and Bengals are probably going to be really good. Ravens, Pitt. So we got some good games.
Good games and some really shit games.
Yeah. But we can get into our power rankings to wrap up the episode. Last week we had KC at 1, Detroit at 2, Baltimore at 3, Bills at 4, Vikings at 5, Commanders at 6, Eagles at 7, Steelers at 8, Falcons at 9, Green Bay at 10. These power rankings going into week 11. KC at 1, Lions at 2, Ravens at 3, Bills at 4, Eagles at 5, Steelers at 6, Commanders at 7, Arizona at 8, Vikings at 9, Green Bay at 10. Going into week 11.
Those are the only correct power rankings.
Yes. But you want to wrap it up there?
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the Barrel Talk podcast. Hope you tune in to future episodes.